Hello, soul friends. This is Miriam. Welcome back to my channel. Today's pick a card reading is all about your workplace, how things are going at work, what's going on at work, where are you headed at work, what are your coworkers doing at work, what's your boss doing at work. I'll just do a fun little career reading. Y'all seem to like those ones the best, so I like to get the tea on your jobs. Now that I don't have coworkers of my own, makes me feel like I don't have to worry about as much. You know, just money, not people. So that's nice. Alrighty. Remember, no matter your individual beliefs, tarot or oracle reading is your spirit guides coming forward to give you advice, or just simply your subconscious mind helping you answer life's ponders. No matter how you look at that, it's healthy and you are in the right place. Let's take a look at your tarot cards. I will put a link to this one in the description box because it is a smaller seller on Etsy. Or a smaller business, I shouldn't say a smaller seller. We have group 2 is this deck here. Group 3 is this one right here. And group 4 is this one. If you hear my cat yowling at me, he's just trying to get our attention. All of the decks will be getting this oracle deck in their reading as well. And so let's just go ahead and get started. Oh, but before I do that, let's go ahead and show you your rocks if you like to pick with rocks or crystals. This is a snow quartz. No clue. It kind of looks like that Picasso jasper or whatever they call it, but it's like a gray and white and black color instead of like brown and tan and reds and stuff. So no clue. Let me know what rocks these are in the comment section. Clear quartz for group 3 and howlite for group 4. Look, I got 3 out of 4. I'm using my lady brain. All right, we will see you in your individual readings all about what's going on at work. Take care. Bye. Hello, group 1. So if you picked the cute little snowy quartz heart, let's go ahead and get into your reading, all about what's going on with you at work. I'm going to start with some oracle. Ooh, just to make sure you are in the right group. We have Archangel Michael. Door to personal healing and happiness. Ooh. Woman holding a coin. Oh, what else do I want to do? Let's get another one. Community. And let's go ahead and stop there. So right off the bat, what I'm seeing with just these cards for check-in to make sure you're in the right spot. Any of these numbers could be significant to you. We have 35, 34, 42, and 7. Lucky number 7. Ooh, look, this adds up to 7 as well. Okay. So with the first chakra and Archangel Michael, the first chakra is all about, it's the base one, right? The red. And that's down right in an embarrassing spot that I don't want to say on YouTube. It's like, you know, right where your bottom would be touching the ground at the very base of your spine. And imagine that just like a little bowl down there doing its thing. It's always connected to like your feelings of security and survival. So not security in the sense of, oh, I feel secure in my relationship with my partner. It's more like security in like, oh, I'm not going to die, that kind of thing. And so it feels like there's some stress at work to the point where like you feel like you need protection all the time. So what's coming into my mind right off the bat is like the type of workplace that might be a little bit dysfunctional, might be a little bit toxic. It kind of feels like the type of workplace where, or the type of working situation where you feel like people view you as being expendable, maybe. Like you're worried that, if the right person comes along and says the right thing or is related to the right person or is friends with the right person, and if they wanted your job, then they might get it because of this feeling. So I feel like your security in the sense of like being able to feed and clothe yourself and survive that way is feeling threatened. And that's why the Archangel Michael is there, because he's an angel of protection. And so it's like this feeling of needing to feel protected, needing to feel secure. The good news with that is that, your guides are kind of showing these good things in the mix, okay? But let's keep on focusing on if you're in the right group or not. So the door to personal healing and happiness, this is like your goal in life. It's not about making a ton of money, although money helps with the whole door to personal healing and happiness. If you don't have money to pay a doctor, it's hard to heal, right? And even if you're into like holistic healing or natural healing or spiritual healing, well, a lot of times they make you pay for that too, don't they? So, there's not usually a lot of healers out there just doing it for free because everybody needs money, right? We can heal ourselves. However, it is a little bit more difficult when you don't have the right guidance. Okay. But this is your main goal, is like just to be healed and happy, to feel healthy and happy, to feel secure. And you aren't going to feel healthy and happy and healed if you feel like your very livelihood is being threatened in some way. Because regardless of what kind of workplace this is, that's the kind of feeling I'm getting, is this like very, maybe competitive, but it feels more dysfunctional to me. And that might just be my empathy coming through, because that's the type of workplaces I always worked in before I just started working with myself. Was this idea of you're expendable. It doesn't matter how well you did or what good things you did. Once you get sick or once you, have a rough time, or somebody, else comes along that fits into a bracket better than you do, like they're related to somebody or they're friends with someone, then you can just get thrown away like trash. And that's like not the best place, to work. But I know that a lot of times we don't have a choice of like, oh, I'm not jiving with how it is around here, so I'm just going to quit, right? Because you can't just quit if you need the money, right? So that all being said, this is your goal. Just finding contentment, just being happy with like where you are in your life. It's not necessarily about the money, but you do need the money to survive, right? The woman holding a coin is a lot like the Queen of Pentacles. In fact, I'm pretty sure no, don't quote me on that. I can't remember which little critter is next to the Queen of Pentacles. If it's a rabbit or if it's the cat. I think the cat is for the Queen of Wands. So forget I said anything there. But feeling content, feeling like you have enough, not just enough to barely scrape by, but enough to feel secure, enough to like retire, enough to be okay. I'm also feeling like your job is somewhat community oriented. Either the job itself is like its own weird little community, its own little small town feel. Okay. Hospitals come to mind in that respect because you got a lot of people working long hours together. Schools are also the same. But anywhere where you're spending a lot of time with your coworkers, or you might do community outreach programs with this job, or it might be something that serves the community in some way. And that also might be important to you, right? Not just the money, not just being secure, but also feeling like you're doing a service for your fellow people, right? So good for you, group one, right off the bat, for being a giverton. This also shows that you're kind of a giving person, okay? But yeah, it feels like you're definitely like, you don't feel secure in this position. It feels like maybe there's a high turnover of like workers where you are, where like, they hire somebody and then the next thing you know, they're just like gone and they're like, yeah, we fired them. And you're like, what? Or, you heard from a coworker that they were just, chilling after work and then the boss just came in and handed them a letter. It's like, guess what? You don't work here anymore. And didn't even sit down and talk to them. I've seen stuff like that happen. And I've had people tell me about stuff like that happening. And, not the best way to handle any of that, bosses. So I feel like you don't feel a lot of support from your boss, okay, there is a sense of community, but it's almost like a community that you could be ousted from. Okay, so if you're like, no, I love my job and my coworkers are the best, this is probably not your group. This feels very like shaky, unstable, toxic maybe in some cases, gossipy, nepotist kind of, feelings. And like the job itself is either a small community or like you're in a job within a small community, which is also kind of rough. Even if you live in a big city, there's still those small communities. You know what I mean? Like everybody goes to the same corner store and like gossips. Once I figured that out, I stopped caring about being able to get away and go to the big city because I was like, oh my gosh, they still do all the same stuff they do in small towns. Blah, it's just, they group up, right? The one thing that would be cool about this city over the small town is that you can, ditch that group and go find another community that's like a few blocks away, right? Like, I'll just go to the other Walmart that's a little bit farther away so I don't run into those people anymore, right? That kind of feeling. But even that can start to kind of wear thin, okay? And so, yeah, that is what it's feeling like. Your guides are giving me the sense, though, that you're going to be okay, that maybe you're worrying over something that's not going to come to pass right now. But yeah, I feel like you're not getting a lot of support from your boss. I feel like there's things that you can't say because it'll get around that community. Like you don't know who to talk to. Maybe you've even tried to talk to people and then, other people found out and you're like, sweet, like I'm never talking to that person again. Kind of playing your cards close to your vest kind of feeling because of that threat to your livelihood, that threat to your security. Okay. So let's get some more information. Oh, hello. Okay, well that fell right there, so we're going to take it right there. All right, let's see what we got here. We might get more, we'll see. We have 9 of Wands. Yeah, right. 9 of Wands, like that guy's out there doing that all by himself, right? I'm feeling like, dang it, nobody cares. I want you to notice the cardinal, however. The cardinal is all about being talented. Maybe nobody notices how talented you are, but you are, okay? I feel like maybe you're talented, but nobody tells you. So you're like, what's the point of being talented if nobody gives me any props for how talented I am? And I'm not saying that you're like sitting there like, oh, I'm talented. I don't ever want to talk about me in good ways. It's like, I feel like you are talented. And like you are being like discounted in some way or not being noticed or not being praised in the way that maybe you've seen other people who might be related to other people or have better friends in the little workplace. That could be a thing. It could be, that just came into my mind. Oh, my dudes, my bros and does. I feel like have you ever dated somebody that like put you down so that you desperately sought their approval when really like you were the catch and they were the loser? You know what I'm talking about? Have you ever seen other people doing that if you can't recognize it within yourself? It kind of feels like some of you have a workplace like that. They kind of mistreat the people that do the best to make them feel like, oh, I got to keep doing this. And then you might even see them like letting the other people that don't do anything kind of skate by. They might even praise them in front of you so that you're like, oh, I got to try harder. It's a weird dysfunctional like head trip. And I don't like it. And I bet you don't like it either. I feel bad for you. I feel bad for this situation because I've been there. It sucks so flippin' hard to have to deal with it. I don't even, and the more you do, the less recognition you get. And then if something happens and you got to take some time off, God forbid, they're like, what? That's not what a Helpy Helperton does. That's not what a team player does. I feel like some of you Might have one of those because of the community aspect. It might be one of those jobs where like, we're one big happy family. And it's like that meme where they're like, any job that says we're a big happy family has already violated several human rights, and will violate more or something like that. It feels like with the Nine of Wands in traditional tarot, it's that guy with the bandage around his head and he's just still standing there at his post and there's no one else there. It feels like that. Like maybe you're doing 8 other people's jobs for them because they won't do it themselves. And then you still don't get the recognition that you deserve. Or they still just want more. Or it's just never good enough. Or you feel like vaguely threatened all the time. That like, oh, if you slack off even just a little bit, we're going to toss you away like trash. Let me tell you right now, this is just personal experience talking. They're still going to throw you away like trash. It doesn't matter how. And I'm not saying they're going to throw you away like trash tomorrow. But I am getting that sense, and I feel like your instincts are correct, that you've probably seen them throw people away like trash, right? And so you feel this like, oh, what do? I better do stuff harder. I better do stuff, make sure they see me doing stuff, right? Oof. It won't be good enough, all right? So at this point, before I get into these other cards, I'm just going to say, start documenting that weird behavior. Just have a notebook. I actually had an app on my phone. It's called Color Note, and like you can do checklists on it, but you can also just have like a notepad that you type on. I'd put a date, what I saw happening, and like just 1 or 2 feelings about how it made me feel. My supervisor praised so and so right in front of me, and then gave me a hard time for asking for the day off because my dad died or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. You've watched other people get to take off a day when it was a, professional development or team meeting, team building exercise day. And this other person got to go. But then when you're like, I have a doctor's appointment, I might not be able to make it. They're like, oh, that's not a good thing for you to do. When for a fact that the other person is just going to see like their kid's ball game or something and it's not a doctor's appointment. Like, it's not as dire as what you needed to do, yet they're giving you a hard time for it and not that other person. Jot that down and be like, I felt like that was discriminatory. You don't have to be like, I feel like it was discriminatory. I feel like they don't appreciate me, but you can just like, they felt like it was discriminating towards me. I felt discounted. I felt threatened. That if I did still take the day off, that it was somehow going to affect me later down the road. Like, put that down, and then, once you have a good 7-8 page thing, take it to HR if they keep messing with you, right? Or just keep it in your back pocket for years and years like I did in case something happens, right? My word, I could sink places still with the documentation that I have of places that I've worked. I could still get people fired for weird stuff that they said and did to me in a doctor's office, right? Or in the workplace, right? Because people are always pushing my boundaries, always. I never get a break, y'all. And I feel like that's kind of the case with you. And it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's not even because you're a pushover. It's because you're a reasonable person in an unreasonable space. Yes, let's keep going. 3 of Wands. This is your guides telling you that you're still going to get to where you want to go, right? That the weight of like wanting this to not be like this will eventually be over. That weight will be over and you will get what's coming to you in a good sense, okay? This can also be a card about travel. So some of you might get to take a little vacay. Some of you might take this as an aha of, yeah, you're right. That other person is always gone. Every time their family does anything, they're just gone. And nobody says anything to them. I'm taking my personal days now. Thank you very much. Deal with it. And just kind of turning that table of, no. You got lucky when I came here, not the other way around. If you don't want to recognize that, well, then I guess we'll talk to HR about how you're feeling about me. And maybe I'll tell them about how I feel about you. Ooh, I'm getting all spunky. Like I'm like ready to go in and narc on them to HR for you. If there was a legal way to do that, I totally would. I'd be like, hey, do you want me to write letters to HR for you? I'm a great writer. Yes, I'm so good at writing. I taught writing, that kind of thing. All right, let's go ahead and keep going. The Empress, abundance. Okay. Notice she's on her own. So a lot of you might find this contentment and abundance on your own. Like maybe some of you just say, F it, this is never going to change. And I'm starting that business of mine, you know. I'm looking out for me first. Screw the community. I'm out for me now. This is all me up in here. Yeah, you're going to have to do that probably, because it doesn't matter how much you do this for them. It's going to always come back to them wanting more, to them taking advantage, to them vaguely threatening to try to keep you in line. Ew, I want to, you know what I mean? I want to punch some bread dough and get out my frustration. I'm just kidding. I literally, when it comes to making bread, that's the most I've ever done, is gotten to punch it. Because when my mom would make homemade bread, she'd always let us punch it. And I was like, man, she did all that work. She probably might have wanted to punch it from time to time. She probably wanted to punch a lot of things. Yeah. What else? But yeah, I see your plans paying off. I see vacations. I see self fulfillment. I see abundance. We see it with the woman holding the coin. Okay. So I feel like things are going to turn around. I feel like part of what you need to do is don't apologize. Start standing up for yourself, even if it means they fire you, you know, that kind of attitude. Because if they see that you're like, oh man, I better not do that or say that because I might lose my job, then they know they've got you, right? And they know they can do whatever they want to you as long as you get to keep the job, right? Whether they mess with your paycheck or, you know, discriminate against you in some other way. And there's so many ways to do it. I would definitely start documenting these fools, because I feel like some of you have legal grounds. I can't give legal advice because I'm not a lawyer, but I'd start talking to HR. I'd start talking, if you're in a union, start talking to your union reps and just see what kind of advice they give you, because it is feeling sketchy, not gonna lie. Okay, let's move along. Strength. Yes, this is something you will overcome. This is all part of a plan to help you become stronger, to become more assertive. It's hard, y'all. I know. Like I've been doing this type of job since, 2023, and I still don't have security, but I also don't have to answer to anyone for the most part, right? And when I do, it's like an email, like, hey, I'm sick. I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. They're like, okay, we love you. That's the kind of place I want to work. Do I not make any money when I'm on a 2-week hiatus? Yup. And that's why I struggle financially still more so than I did before. But at the same time, my other job wasn't really paying that great anyway. And I was paying 10 grand out of my pocket for medical bills, even with benefits. And so, you got to take what you can take. You get to a point where, my health kind of decided for me that I was quitting that job. But I was already kind of, I was already documenting, doing my thing. And so, and my other jobs before that, same kind of deal, very dysfunctional, very, discriminatory, very toxic. But you've got the strength to make it through this. Like, you've got the heart of a wolf, which is, I will eat you, mofo. I will chase you down and eat your heart. Nom, 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 nom. Alrighty. And the moon. Yes, you have fear of the future. I feel already like some of you are like, but I can't, Miriam, I can't. I know, man, I've been there. I couldn't either, and then the decision was made for me by way of my health. I always thought it was going to be made for me because somebody else was going to come along that had more clout in some way, and that they were just going to discount me and push me out. I feel like that still could have happened. But having to live under the threat of that is also disgusting, my friends. It's no way to live. And so stop apologizing, stop people pleasing, start standing your ground, start documenting. Okay? And try not to worry about the future. Try to have faith that you will land somewhere if the worst happens, that your guides will have your back. Okay? You can trust your intuition about this. Your guides want to give you information about this and how to cope, so start communicating with them. Yeah, I want to get a little bit more here. Let's see what's going on with your coworkers. Four of Coins, a lot of them feel the same way. And I feel like even the ones that feel like they've got it in the, or that look like they've got it in the bag, right? That they also have that insecure feeling of like needing to protect themselves as they try to move their way through this like environment. Your guides are saying to be assertive, to step up to those challenges, okay? Some of your coworkers are very assertive to the point where they might even seem kind of pushy. I feel like some of them just say whatever they want, okay, in front of whoever they want, and you're like, there's no way I would get away with saying that. Dang it. You know, like, why? What did you do that's so special? A lot of it is mentality. Some of them have the mentality of like, no, you're lucky I'm here, not the other way around. So work on keeping me. They have no problem saying no. They have no problem saying, nope, that's not right. They have no problem throwing tantrums. So it almost becomes, and I feel like some of you might have grown up in this environment where you had like siblings that would like throw tantrums and you didn't. So like the siblings were the ones that got everything, even like your stuff that should have been yours because they knew you wouldn't throw a tantrum about it. Oh, shame on parents who let that happen. I'm just saying, dude. Like, get it together. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about you guys who are parents. I'm talking about your parents. Y'all, maybe might be a thing. And it's triggering. And you didn't get you anywhere, right? And so a lot of this is pushing you out of your comfort zone so that you do speak up, so you do say something, so you do walk away maybe even. Okay? And I think you know which ones you are. Nine of Coins. You will be okay even if you get ousted totally on your own. The Nine of Coins is that person that's on their own, but they're self-sufficient, they're successful, and they do it all by themselves. So if any of you are thinking about starting a small business, I'm not saying go in and slap your boss and quit today and do like what they do in, oh, what movie is that? Well, you guys should guess because that's what I try to do with movies with you, where the guy just finally like walks up to the little microphone and just starts pointing at people. F you, F you, F you, you're cool, and F you, I'm out. Like, probably make sure that your business is kind of a little bit of a side hustle first and try to get it off the ground, right? Make arrangements for any kind of nest egging that you need to do to get out of that job and being able to do what you want. My point is, yeah, don't just go in and slap your boss and be like, I quit. And, that's just me being cautious, right? Because I was never able to do that. I had to have I had a part-time job reading cards, like more than half a year before I finally left my other job. And it still was scary. And it's still scary, right? Okay, let's keep going. So just make sure you have backup plans before you run out of there. I also would say before you quit, narc them off, man. Like, I'm not saying to be a narc, but at the same time, like, narc off any type of toxic workplace because they're not legally supposed to be doing that. Okay, here we go. Emotional fulfillment coming your way. See? I want to see what your boss is up to. Yeah. Oh, they feel so picked upon. All these workers wanting me to like respect them and do nice things. Oh my word. Yeah, I'm getting very poor me vibes from your from your boss. Like they feel like they're taking it from all sides. When really like they're their own damn problem. Yarr. Man, I need to get an account where I can cuss. I mean, I can cuss on here, but If by some miracle I ever start making money on this site, I'd like to keep doing that. But let me know if you'd like me to start another channel on a different platform where I cuss as much as I want, because I'm a cussing connoisseur. It's like really fun to have my full range of expression. And your guides like that too, I think. Some people have cussy guides. Those are my favorite. But yeah, it's like they're dealing with all these things at once, but I feel like a lot of it is because of like mismanagement, honestly. Feeling they might get defensive whenever you try to like point something out to them. I know that the Seven of Wands is usually about like overcoming challenges, but it can also represent feeling ganged up on. So I almost get this sense from a boss in a lot of these situations that your boss is like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed. Everything's so hard. What about me? You know, and it's like, oh my word, then why are you the boss? Right? You got to put on the big kid panties to take home the big paycheck, right, guys? I don't know if reminding them of that would help or not. Probably not. But yeah, feeling defensive, but also like mismanaging. And so then they have a lot of things coming at them at once. And they're like, oh, I can't take it no more. And then they take it out on everyone else is kind of what it feels like to me. I'm not seeing a huge thing. A lot of you also have like kind of an aggressive boss that you might try to like make a suggestion. They just cut you off before you even get a chance to say it. That kind of like aggression, like they might get up and tell everybody, this is how it is, and not even like hear anyone out of, okay, but how is this going to affect me personally, sir, you know, or ma'am, right? Okay, let's keep going. Okay, your guides are saying that there will be balance restored to your life if it does come to you having to report something. The legal, you know, frame of that would be in your favor. So don't hold back if that's what you need. Notice how we have an eagle who would eat the bunny, and yet they're kind of just like holding that steady right now. And then I also see the footprints walking away towards the truth. So it's almost like a lot of you, your guides are saying like it's time to move on if you can. Don't move on until you have a backup plan. Financially, don't put yourself in the poorhouse that way. But I mean, dude, who else is in the poorhouse even though you have a job? Like all of us. You know, eggs are $10 for a carton, you know. Bah! But at the same time, you know, it's sort of dysfunctional. And so some of you, your boss might quit. And that might restore some balance, like the new boss coming in. That was like a specific thing for a couple of you. Okay, let's see what else is going on. King of Wands. Some of you guys' boss has a bit of a temper. They might be good at getting stuff done, but they're not very warm and fuzzy, right? It's like focusing more on like this thing ripping you apart as opposed to it snuggling you, because that's usually what bears will do to a human. You know, that Jungle Book thing was all fake. Remember, the bears and the panthers are just like hanging out with the little boy. Like, it's cool. Yeah. I feel like it's like more of a, you know, throwing their weight around kind of energy. Let's look at your coworkers a little bit more. Two of Wands. Yeah, a lot of them are in the same boat as you, trying to weigh their options, trying to decide which way they want to go. But your guides are also showing abundance still coming towards you. Abundance and emotional fulfillment. Okay. See how your boss feels about you. Temperance. They think that you're a well-balanced person, so they should be treating you as such, but they're not. And that's something that needs to change. Yeah, they're not being honest with you. I feel like they've maybe told you something was going to happen by a certain date, and then it never does. that they've even lied to you and then you like caught it later. We're like, that wasn't true, that dirty so and so, withholding information, holding on too tightly to grudges, just weird stuff from your boss. Like, I'm not feeling great vibes about any of your bosses right now. So if you're like, I love my boss, they're great, definitely in the wrong pile, because like I literally want to like take this person to HR myself. Like, F your bosses, you know what I mean? Let's look at what your coworkers think of you. Ooh, they think you're intuitive, and some of them could see that as a threat. Some of them see it as a good thing. I feel like you have a healthy mix of like good and bad with your coworkers. Lots of, it's like them waiting for you to do it first. Okay. And maybe you probably will, because you're doing like 3 other people's jobs already, or like 8 other people's jobs already. They think you've got a really great life at home. So whether you do or not, that's what they perceive. There might be some jealousy involved in that. I do feel like jealousy from coworkers. I feel like that same jealousy, like we were talking about the kids, like your parents like giving the squeaky wheel the most grease instead of giving it to you every once in a while, right? Yeah, some backstabbies, some selfishness. I also feel like you feeling kind of separate from them, like you're off doing your thing and they're off doing their thing. And notice how it has like that herd mentality and you're kind of off by yourself. And yeah, they're all expecting it to crumble for them too. Even if they feel like even if you see them being treated better than you, they all still feel like it's like, yeah, I could go at any time. They could get rid of me at any time. Some of you might think that you're getting favored. Isn't that infuriating? Okay, final advice. Emotional fulfillment is coming. Start sticking up for yourself. Stop worrying about the job going away. If they fire you because you stood up for yourself, take them to HR. Lots of emotions, but also a lot of opportunity if you're willing to look, if you're willing to put your line out and feel for it. I got my job reading cards quite by accident. I was just messing around. And then I saw an advertisement for tarot, readings. And I was like, but I don't want to get a tarot reading. I don't want to give them. And then right there on the site, it was like, hey, do you want to be a tarot reader? Apply. And I like literally applied in bed. And then they totally it was just a fluke. And then they called me back and then they had me do a couple of readings and the readings went great and they hired me. It was like freakishly easy how that one fell into place. And then I got a couple more, because I need money, right? So like put your line out, see what you get. Like I like to apply for jobs and not really put any effort in. Like they're like, oh, do you want to add a cover letter? I'm like, nah, let's see if you hire me with that one. And like I've gotten a few jobs that way. There is heartache. And so you need to work on your betrayal wounds. I feel like people betrayed you over and over again in this job, and that you need to work on your betrayal wounds. You're going to get good offers if you put your line out. And you might do better downsizing to something where you're working on your own. But overall, your guys are saying as long as you push forward, you're going to be okay. Let's get one more oracle card. Or 2 in your case. Financial constraints, right? So yes, do not quit until you got your finances in order, because I don't want to be like, yeah, quit your job. And then you quit and then you're in trouble because you don't have any source of income coming in. I'm going to say that sometimes it's better to leave a career and job it for a while. Honestly, sometimes it might actually feel better. Did you ever see that movie, American Beauty, where he quit his corporate job? I mean, he blackmailed him too, but so don't do that. Follow the law, people, please. But he ended up just getting a job at a burger place, and he was super happy with that because he didn't have as much responsibility. He didn't even want a manager. He just wanted to work counter. You know, because that's what he did before his life, you know, became corporate and fell apart, right? There's love coming towards you in your career. I mean, that there's some sort of career coming that you will love. You just got to keep your line out there, okay? And lastly, the Magician and the Mirror. Yes, look at yourself, look at what you want, look at what you have to offer, and then work towards that. Because I really do feel like you will get what you want if you always strive for that, okay? And with that, I shall leave you. Let me know how this resonated. If it did, give me topic ideas in the comment section as well. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are ways to do so in the description box, my friends. Thank you so much. We will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye. Hello, group 2. So if you picked this, whatever it is, the one I didn't know, let's go ahead and get into what's going on with you at work. What's going on with your job? What's going on with your boss? What's going on with your coworkers? What's going on with your pay? What's going on with you? Oh, wait, hang on. Yep, see, I'm already messing up. Let's get your oracle cards first. Shall we? Just to make sure you're in the right group. Well, that looks about right for now. Quite the little stack you just got. Let's take a look, skis. Door to romance. Uh-oh. We're talking about work. So some of you are already doing what I would never do. Not that I'm judging you. Maybe you're having a work romance. Yikes, y'all. I guess it depends on where you work and how that all goes, you know, because in my experience, romance at work can lead to a messy business. Like when I was in high school, I wouldn't even date a kid that went to the same school with me because when we broke up, I didn't want to have to look at him in the hallway, right? I don't want to see those people ever again. So I'd always like, you know, date somebody that went to a different school, you know? So, you know, we'll see what's going on, but some of you might be having an inter-office romance of some kind. Some of you might just work with your significant other. And if that's the case, that's probably a little bit different, you know? I'm not saying it can't work. I'm just saying it can lead to some icky stuff down the road if you break up. Patience, number 16. You're trying to be patient, maybe? Healer of the ages. Interesting. I'm just going to keep going because this is getting crazy already. 6th chakra, Archangel Metatron. That's your third eye chakra. So some of you might be trying to figure out what's going on. And broken heart. Yeah, this definitely feels like there's romance going on in the workplace for this group. So if you don't have a crush or you're not seeing people at work in a romantic way, this is probably not the group for you right off the bat. If you are, or if you're crushing on someone, or if you've recently had an inter-office relationship of some kind and then broken up, I feel like some of you are trying to be patient, waiting to see if this is going to happen. And that you're trying to see, like, you know, you might be doing readings or seeing readings because you want to know how they feel about you. Okay. I feel like this kind of represents the person that you are either crushing on or that you had a romance with at work. With the broken heart, here's the message that I'm getting across the board. Some of you already have the broken heart. That's a very meaty looking heart. It's grossing me out. So is the romance part. Yep, that's super gross. Gross, 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 guys. Okay. Some of you are crushing and you're trying to be patient. You feel like this person's like the answer to like what you've been wanting, like a lot of heavy infatuation and Twitter-pated vibes. Like trying to figure out what they're thinking, maybe calling readers or watching a lot of YouTube videos, trying to see ahead, right? Some of you had a romance at work and it's already ended, and you're trying to be patient, hoping that they'll come back. And so it's like very much like this like pining feeling for someone, feeling like they have the key to your heart, okay? That they're the answer to what you've been wanting all this time. All right, this is my channel, so I'm just going to level with you. And if you don't like it, you can always just delete my stuff from your stuff. Just, tell me where to go in the comments and be like, I don't accept this. And I was like, maybe some of you work with somebody that you're involved with already. But, okay, I'm going to go ahead and keep that in there because it did come out. I'm just not feeling it as hard because I feel like the people that are already in a coupling together, not a breakup and not a crush, but you're just like with somebody that you work with. I feel like that's more out in the open. So I'm going to start with those guys first. And then if you're pining for somebody, crushing on somebody, feeling heartbroken by somebody in the workplace, we'll get to you in just a minute. Okay. So for some of you, working together with your significant other, these are for people that are still together. Okay. I'm feeling like it's going well in some aspects, but in other aspects, it's not. And I'm talking more about the work and not the relationship. Okay. So I feel like maybe you've started a business together. Maybe you are doing some type of startup together. I'm getting like a partnership sense, like a business partnership as well as a romantic partnership. And it's been like a rough go because starting your own business is always hard, okay? Especially in our societies today. It's almost like they really don't want us to be able to do that, right? Like you got like a kid selling lemonade and somebody calls the health department on them because they don't have a health permit to serve lemonade, or, they try to tax them in some way or tell them they need a permit and it's like a 10-year-old kid, right? That kind of energy. It's hard. Okay. So I feel like you're trying to be patient, that you're trying to see around the bend, that you feel heartbroken that things aren't totally working out the way that you want them to yet. It might be kind of getting in the way of your romance, even though you are together all the time, because you have to do, put your business hats on, and then you have to take those off and put your romance hats on. So there's something in there for the people that are still together with somebody that they work with. For those of you that are crushing on a coworker, I feel like you're already kind of like headed this way because they're not giving you what you want, regardless of how patient you feel. For those of you that have broken up, it's like you want them back, but that's also not happening. So you're trying to be patient, trying to see where they're coming from. Gross, you guys, come on. I do one romance reading a year by choice around Valentine's Day. This is not Valentine's Day yet. Oh, come on, guys. Okay. Guess I'll stop giving you a hard time. If you're crushing, and this is coming from me more than your guides because I just can't help myself. Try not to do the romance thing at work, y'all. It's just a recipe for that so often that I can't even begin to describe it to you. Now, maybe I'm a cynical critter. I am a cynical critter, okay? But I've always I've always like made it a point to not date people at work because once you break up, it's really, really awkward. Okay. Have I gotten work crushes? Of course. Who hasn't? Right? Okay, just kidding. I haven't. But, it's mainly because I met my partner before I entered the workforce officially because we've been together since we were like teenagers, right? Well, I was like 18, he was like 20, okay? And we were going to school. We were like college kids. So like the Joe jobbing that we did or the summer work that we did end up working together. And we do get along really, really well. And we are one of those couples that can hang out with each other all the time without getting sick of each other. But it was the job. I couldn't handle the job. If he did better than me at the job, I was like, I'm a loser and he's always going to be better than me. Like I had to carve out my own niche, right? I couldn't just like ride on his coattails because it was like his job first and then I went along with him, right? Because it was a traveling job and we didn't want to be apart. And that lasted about, when we were in college together, it was okay, because we only did it in the summer. But once like we both graduated, we decided to do that full time instead of getting jobs with our degrees so that we could be together. That was when I learned like it didn't matter that I wasn't going to miss out on time with him. Like I needed to do my own thing because I was going to like, not kill him, like it wasn't like I was like, oh, he's driving me nuts. I got to get out of here. It was more like I was driving me nuts and I needed my own thing to do. Okay. So there is that message in there for some, like maybe the ones that are already couples. For others, it's like you already know that it's kind of like not working or you wouldn't be here. Like I feel like the heartache is already if you're crushing, you already can feel the ache because like maybe they're not reciprocating. Okay? They might not even know that you're crushing on them at this job. And like maybe you feel like they do know or they should know, but like I feel like a lot of them don't know that you like are crushing on them. If this is had a romance and then you broke up, you want to heal. And you feel like to heal, you need to be with that person. I'm just gonna lay it on the line right now, y'all. I don't feel like this is if you're already a couple together, you're working through things. But like if you broke up with this person or you're just crushing on this person, your guys are throwing up a lot of barricades of like, this is probably not the way to go. I'm sorry to say. So, let's go ahead and look at your tarot. I'm trying to see if there's something else in there. Like, I feel like some of you are like, already like, screw you, Miriam. I'm not accepting this. You don't ever have to accept a reading, y'all. If you're like, no, I know this is going to turn out different. That's cool. It's a general reading, The guides that are here right now are definitely telling the people that have broken up that it's not going to happen for good reason. And the other ones are talking about how like the crush might not be reciprocated because it's a work situation. And they're saying you don't want it to be reciprocated because of the work situation. Okay. Let's get some tarot. Prudence. Ladies out first, and then we're going to get into it because I don't want to speak to. 8 of Swords in reverse. Four of Cups in reverse. The 2 of Swords in reverse. Perfected work. What is this? 4 of Pentacles. Yes? That's a 4, all right. You're saying work. Oh, 4 of Wands. 4 of Wands, but it says Perfected work? Okay. Okay. So right now what I feel like is stubbornness coming from the ones that want this to work out. Okay, I'm not talking about the people who are already together. We'll get to you in a second. I feel like you heard what I said before and you're like, no, I'm going to keep working towards this. It's not going to affect my job. And I'm not going to just sit and do nothing. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm not going to miss out on something that feels like it, like I met this person for a reason. Why do I have these feelings, etc. That you're not just going to like not make a choice, that you're going to go for it, and that you're somehow going to get the Four of Wands if you do that. Okay, that's what I'm feeling for the ones that are crushing and the ones that have broken up. This determination to see it through, to make it happen. For those of you that are in a coupling already and you work together, your guides are saying just to keep your head down and keep going forward, that you aren't letting fear hold you back, which is a good thing, that you're not missing anything that you need to see, and that both of you are pretty much doing what you need to do. And that you're action oriented, and if you keep on doing that you're going to have success. Okay, so this is like a wish for the ones who aren't with that person at work, and it's encouragement for the ones who are. Okay, and I'm talking if you are in a relationship. I'm not talking about what you think that person might feel or what there might be between you, because you feel this energy between you. Okay, we feel energy between us and other people all the time, especially if you're a person who feels energy, if you're an empath, if you are intuitive. A lot of times, what was I saying? Good grief, my brain. A lot of times when we're intuitive, we pick up on signs from other people. But we can misinterpret those signs because we felt something. We feel like we might need to attribute more to it. Like, oh, I feel past life energy with this person. Well, we must have had a romance and now I'm attracted to them now, and there must be something there. There must be something there for a reason. I'm telling you right now, past life energy can be very confusing that way. Just because you feel past life energy with somebody, it very rarely means that you're supposed to be with them, even if you were together in a past life. And that could be like something that you feel like unfinished. Chances are, if you haven't fallen together in this life easily, it's probably not the main reason why they're running into you now. It's usually some small little aspect of healing or learning that needs to take place. Okay? It might be a chance for them to make a wrong right. And that's up to them if they want to make that. So you might be hanging on, waiting for somebody to fulfill something that isn't actually what that past life connection is actually happening for. I hope I'm explaining that right. That's something that I see a lot that I can't always just say to people because they're not ready to hear it. I feel like a lot of you aren't ready to hear that. And many of you might have already left because you're like, F you, Miriam, this is the love of my life. I'm out of here. Cheers to you, Edmund. I don't know what to say. Okay. Yeah. I also feel like this is stealing a lot of your peace. All right. Like you're worried you're going to miss out on something if you don't act, right? If you don't act right now, you're going to miss something. And so you're almost kind of going in the opposite direction when your guides are kind of saying you need to like back up. All right. Anytime I've ever had a crush on someone, I've always waited to make sure it's not just my hormones, you know? And so many times it was just my hormones, just like some loneliness I was feeling, that I wasn't just like taking care of myself, you know? And so that I was looking for somebody else to take care of me for me. And then that led to me putting too much emotional pressure on my partner that I have now, because I was holding him responsible for my emotional well-being. And I still catch myself doing that. And I hate it because I know it's not the healthy way to be, but I'm so like traumatized and twisted that I still try to force him into that role, right? And he was kind of forced into that role already in his childhood. So he feels that pressure to live up to that for me. And it leads to nothing but chaos between us because nobody can be responsible for my emotional well-being. It has to come from me. So I'm getting this sense of someone feeling like this is my answer. As long as I can get this, I will be okay. Nope. And I'm sorry I'm not sugarcoating this for you, but I have to sugarcoat it so hard at my other jobs that I'm just kind of over it with my channel as far as like being like, oh, let's try to soft serve this to you so that, it doesn't feel so abrupt. But like your guides feel like they don't have time. They feel like you don't have time in some sense, like you're wasting your time with putting all your eggs in this basket, with trying to move forward to it and get that reward that isn't coming, which is that Four of Wands energy, which is that balance, good partnership, give and take and give, good things, celebrations, etc. Okay, let's keep going a little bit. Okay, we have Two of Wands. Queen of Wands. Some of you feel like you're in love with this person. I mean, if you're already a couple, you are in love with that person. There's still a lot of passion between you if you are a couple. If you're already a couple and you work together, you guys are saying that this is just the beginning. It's a good partnership. You have the world in the palm of your hand, okay? For others, it's like you're trying to choose. Like, what's the best way to get this person in the palm of my hand? Because, like, you feel like you're actually, like, maybe in love with this person. Lots of sleepless nights, lots of wondering, lots of waiting, lots of whatever you want to call it. You can't eat, you can't sleep, like that kind of infatuation. You feel like you've been waiting forever. For those of you that are in a couple, this would represent like fear over the business, fear over where it's going. Things might not be materializing as quickly as you would like to. Okay, we have the Empress. Oh my. Hang on. Sorry about that. My rice was done cooking. Let's keep going real quick. Princess of Swords. Or the Page of Swords. Okay. So, for a lot of you, this is like your Empress. This is your ideal person. Okay, these are the people that are crushing. All right. And even though maybe you're broken up or crushing, like you haven't even gotten together yet, the Ten of Swords in reverse would indicate that you're still trying to push forward when it's like already kind of a done deal or a dead end. This shows maybe you spying on them a little bit. Like, I don't think you're like, I mean, hopefully you're not in their bushes peeking at them. Because, people do stuff like that. I don't think you're doing stuff like that yet. Please don't start. But like checking social media if you have it, calling readers or watching YouTube videos, trying to see, do they feel something for me? Do they feel anything for me? Here's the thing that's hard truth about this reading. I'm not getting anything from that other person towards you yet. Does that make sense? It's like either they aren't aware that you have these feelings or they've already broken up and they don't want to continue. And so because you can't communicate with them, you're trying to get information to try to get that communication or answers to you in some other way. Okay, like talking to friends, trying to like put little lines out there, checking social media, doing readings, that kind of thing. For those of you who are already in a coupling, your guides do show like abundance coming towards you. They're just saying not to give up. So I mean, it's like two different like things for everybody. And to give me one clarifier for this couples group. It's like research, communicate, reach out to other people in some way. Your guides do show that even though this might feel new for those of you that are established in a coupling and you work together, okay? This is not for those who are crushing or have broken up with a person at the workplace, okay? Yikesies, these chicks are totally nude. Cover yourselves. Cover yourself. There's so much nudity in these cards. If you don't like nudity in your cards, don't go for that deck. I'm like constantly like, there's lots of boobs and butts. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so anyway. It's like reaching out and communicating. Those are in an established relationship, reaching out and communicating with others, finding out what other people are doing within that business to get to where they wanted it to be. And that will lead to you having success. For those of you that you have been spying, you might, or not, I feel bad saying spying, but like trying to like watch somebody from afar, trying to figure things out from afar on your own about someone that you're crushing on or have broken up with. You could be worrying and looking to see if they're seeing other people, if they're having fun, etc. and so forth, okay? Justice. The High Priestess. The Queen. Wait, no, the Nine of Pentacles, sorry. And the Queen of Cups. Ay, ay, ay. Who cares? Like, I don't even know why I bothered doing that. It's so dumb. All right. Okay. See, that's another reason why I should get another platform channel so that I can just show the nudity. Who cares? Woo, nudity. All right, let's keep going. For those of you that are in a coupling at work, your guides are saying you're going to find that balance. Trust your intuition. You will have success and you will be emotionally fulfilled. For those of you who are crushing or broken up with the person that you have worked with, your guides are strongly suggesting that you back off of this idea. I'm sorry that that's not what you want to hear. But maybe some of you are intuitively feeling like, yeah, I kind of knew this is how it was, but I needed to hear it. So let's just have it out. And like I said, if you feel like, hey, we're totally into each other, I know this is going to work out, then it doesn't have to be your pile, you know, it can be something else. But for those of you that are still here willing to hear me out, trust your intuition, which is screaming at you that not only could this end up hurting you financially and emotionally, it could hurt you legally, depending on what kind of strict rules your workplace has for any inter-office relationships. I'm sorry that I'm not getting a ton of info on even what kind of jobs these are. It's more like because there's so much romance involved, it's kind of taking away from that. The Hanged Man. Yeah, see things differently. Look at things from a different perspective. Look at things in a way that feels honest, even if the honesty kind of sucks, okay? For those of you that are in a relationship trying to make it work, it seems like the business is what's having a harder time than like you yourselves as a couple. And so they're saying to kind of look at things a little bit differently. Look at things from different perspectives. Remember how they were talking about doing research and reaching out to other people? That's something that's coming through there for the people that are already established in a relationship. Those of you that have been crushing and breaking up, your guides are urging you still to try to look at this from a different perspective, to look at it as that this isn't the right time, that this isn't the right place, that this might not even be the right person. most likely not the right person. And there's a reason for that. And to try to keep hoping and put it into that bracket is just going to cause you more heartache. Okay. Conflict with the 5 of Wands. Some of you are feeling strife and conflict towards me because I'm telling you this and you don't want to hear it. Some of you are feeling conflict from that person. Why won't they be there for you? Some of you feel like there's competition around that person you want. Okay. For the people who are already established in a relationship, there's conflict between you because you're trying to work together and maintain relationships. Like, there needs to be, for those people, there needs to be like looking at it differently. Keep the work at work and the home at home, right? And figure out a way to make that happen. Because if you're constantly bringing the work home, constantly bringing your relationship to work, it can cause that strife and that conflict, all right? For those of you who feel like you're crushing and this person has all these people and admirers around them and, you're feeling jealous or you're feeling like you're going to lose that person or whatever, if you've broken up, you've already kind of lost them, okay? If you are crushing, you don't even have them yet, all right? And so their interpersonal relationships, how they're choosing to live their life, it really doesn't have anything to do with you, kind of thing. Once again, I'm still not seeing them in this reading. If you're crushing on them or if you want to get back with them, it's like they're largely absent from this reading. It's mostly like you dealing with your emotions towards them and your emotions towards this situation. Yeah. They're blocking you. All right. If this is a breakup situation at work, they're blocking you. They want to protect themselves. Some of them might be worried about getting in trouble for having a romance at work because a lot of times that's not allowed. Some of them are trying to shield themselves from your expectations. Some of them are just blocked off entirely because they don't even know you have a crush on them. And those of you who are crushing or broken up, you are hanging on too tightly to something that isn't happening right now. Anyone can change. Situations can change, hairstyles can change, gas prices can fluctuate, but your guides are telling you right now, like, you kind of need to let go of your expectation here of this turning into a romance or coming back to a romance. Those of you who are already in an established coupling, you need to learn to let go of work and focus on relationship. Those of you who Yeah. Yep. Okay. I think I said what I needed to say there. I was going to say something else, and then I was like, meh. I kind of feel like I'm starting to turn into a broken record a little bit. Okay, so can we shift gears a little bit, Spirit, and see how their boss feels about them? Because I feel like I'm just saying the same thing over and over again with the other stuff. Okay, those of you who are crushing or are broken up with somebody, your bosses could notice that that's going on. And if romance is not allowed in the workplace or if it's affecting your ability to do your job, they are definitely going to notice, and it could end up bringing some downfall. For those of you that are already in a coupling, I feel like this is kind of like already, like you're in this moment already. It's like you're trying to make it work and things might keep falling apart, or you've had a setback or something along those lines. And your guides are just showing that you can rebuild from that. The same thing with those of you who have been noticed by your boss that you might have like some distractions because of this romance or crush that you've got going on. That can be righted as well, but you need to start now, okay? For those of you already in a coupling, you are going to be fine as a couple. You just need to kind of put your heads down and be a couple when you're not at work. I know it's hard because you're very worried about it all the time, because I feel like this is very much like you're kind of, the two of you are kind of on your own, or you're working in the same place trying to build towards this like collective future. You will get there, but you need to put yourselves first and your relationship first. Those of you who are crushing, this person, if they are not for you, which I'm feeling very strongly that they are not, and the same thing if you've broken up, this is waiting for you. You can still have this. It just needs to be found not at work. Okay? So if you're like, but I'm always at work and I never meet anybody else, start making the time. Start putting yourself out there. Have a work and private life balance. Okay? Yeah. I feel like all of you are headed towards love. It's just some are looking in the wrong place, okay? And some are being distracted by the stresses of this situation with like the people that are already in a couple. I see 2 of Cups, so you will end up with someone who's compatible, or those who are already together will find a common ground and find balance. And that abundance and love is coming towards you. You just might need to shift where you're looking for it. Okay, let's see what your coworkers feel about you. Okay, you're hiding your stuff from your coworkers pretty well, but some of them are seeing through it. Some of them are seeing through that you have a broken heart that you're trying not to let them see, or that you're not talking about. Some of them feel like you're not being honest with yourselves about that situation. All right. For those of you that are already in a couple, the heartache will come to an end, but there does need to be a lot more communication about splitting work and romance. Let's get another card. Nine of Cups in reverse. So it's like, oof, that wish fulfillment for those of you that really want this to be a thing. Oh, I just don't see it happening, guys. I'm sorry. I don't see you getting back together, and I don't see you ending up with your crush. And that feels very much like the opposite of wish fulfillment for you. For those of you that are in a coupling, you feel like you had this dream together and you're moving forward, but like it's just not happening in the way that you want it to, and it's putting a strain on things. They're saying to put your relationship first. If you need to work separate jobs until you get more established, that is okay. Okay. And I do feel, the wish fulfillment coming through. I just feel like no one's looking at that, or they're not looking in the right place or at the right person if they're not already together. Okay. I'll get you some more of these. Action. The Garden and the Gate. And the Door to Value. Okay. A lot of you might be thinking, see, action. I'm going to go after this person. No, you need to take action towards your own interests. Start putting action towards finding somebody outside of work. Put action towards letting someone go if you've broken up. Those of you who are coupled together are going to start taking action towards a common goal of keeping work at work and home at home, and really being honest with yourselves on if this whole working together thing is working. I feel like you work well together if you're an established couple working together, but the work is hard. The work isn't materializing, or the business isn't materializing the way you would like it to. Okay? This is an opportunity to do things differently and to have value and abundance come your way, and fulfillment, having that wish fulfillment come through. So I love the door to value with the people who are already working together that are in a relationship, that your guides are saying there's going to be a big payoff. For those of you who want somebody or want to get back together with somebody, your guides are saying that you know what you want, right? But instead of like placing it all on one person, of I want that person, it's more like, what type of person do I want? That will open the gate to more valued relationships. Okay. I want to get a little bit more. Yeah, man holding a coin. So money's coming in for the couple that are already trying. Contract. Some of you have had a contract or have signed something that says you won't have romance in the office place or in the workplace. And so your guides are saying to try to hold to that. All right. And like you will end up prosperous, but you need to play by the rules, is what I'm hearing. For those of you that are in a relationship, you need to find that balance of work and home, once again. And last but not least, community. Yeah, reach out to your community. Those of you who are already in a committed relationship and who work together, reach out to your community, do that research to find out how you can improve things, okay, including both privately and professionally. Those of you who are crushing, you need to get out where you can meet people outside of the workplace. And the same thing for those of you that have broken up. Reach out to somewhere and someone outside of that workplace. Let's get one more card for the full shebang. And then we have woman holding a heart. That's how you're going to find your Queen of Cups emotional fulfillment. Don't worry about the man-woman dynamic. It's just a person, okay? And yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Okay. Tell me if this was helpful in the comments section. I'm sorry if it wasn't what you wanted to hear. People are crushing and, no, I need to stop apologizing for that. It's your guide's message, not mine. I'm not trying to take the jam out of your donuts here. I'm really not. I'm the messenger. Don't shoot. But yeah, balance. Emotional fulfillment, you might just be looking at it in the wrong place. And those of you who are in a coupling, you will retain your romance, you will retain this relationship, okay? Those of you that broke up, it ended for a reason. And with that, I shall leave you. Let me know how this is helpful in the comment section, like I just said. Give me topic ideas there as well. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are ways to do so in the description box. Oof, my friends. Nice little romance reading we snuck in there, y'all. Very gross. We'll see you in the next one. Bye. Hi, group 3. So if you picked the little clear quartz crystal, I love clear quartz. Let's go ahead and get you some oracle cards all about what's going on with you at work. Oh, okay. Anxiety. Uh-oh. The sun. Oh, yay. Door to spirits. Angel of strength. Okay, I see one more card sticking out, so you're going to get 5 today, group 3. Good for you. Special. You're a special, special one. I can feel it. Just kidding. You're all special in your own special, special ways. Let's see. What am I doing? And community. Okay. So let's go ahead. Scooch these so that they're all on camera. Sorry if it's not totally centered. I can't see the camera. It's up too high for me to see it. Okay, so without standing up. And if I stand up, I'm going to knock the table with my knees. I don't want to knock the table with my knees because I'm getting old and my knees need as much, not getting knocked as they can. Anybody else have bad knee problem? I actually don't, and that's why I try not to knock my knees around. Get it? Okay. So, starting off with the anxiety, I feel like a lot of you have work anxiety in general right now. Sorry if you hear this clicking noise. I'm multitasking. But what's cool about these is that it seems to be that your guides are saying that you don't need to worry as much as you are, okay? So for a lot of you, this job feels ideal. It feels like it is not just a job. It feels like it fulfills some kind of a spiritual need that you have as well. And that's what you want in life, is like a job that fulfills, checks those boxes besides just like providing you with a living and, feeling like you don't want to run screaming out of the room every time you show up there, right? So, that being said, it feels as though because you like it so much that you worry about losing it, worry about it changing, worry about not being strong enough to get to stay there, worried about losing a community. I feel like you get ties into a community spirit or feeling with this job. And so like all of it feels so ideal that it feels like you're kind of like waiting for the other shoe to drop, and that gives you anxiety. I'm also picking up on some like imposter syndrome. Like they're all going to figure out I don't know what I'm doing, or they're all going to figure out I'm not the right one for this job, right? And I feel like we're going to dispel those fears today. That's just coming right out already. Okay, other situations. It feels like a community. This could be a spiritually oriented job. Like the job I have is very spiritually oriented because I do tarot readings for a living. But even when I was teaching, that was also spiritually oriented for me because I was helping other souls around me that were like souls of children, right? Even though they were like big, gross old children. Some of them are probably watching this, the older ones that graduated are probably watching this going, thanks a lot. We're big and gross, yeah. Not all of you. Not all of you were gross, but you were like the big kid type. So anyway, they were still children to me because I'm old. And so feeling of like you might lose your community, you might lose, this wonderful thing that you have. Like, I feel like to a lot of you, it doesn't even feel like a job. It's so ideal. Okay. So if you're like, no, my job sucks, I hate it. Maybe not the right pile for you. Okay. And so I feel like what you're mainly here for is to find out if you're okay, if it's going to work out, if you're valued, if you're doing a good job. Those are the kind of energies that I feel coming forward from you as I'm looking at this card when it comes to your job. And I do feel like this like fear of losing it, this fear of being found out that you aren't as cool as what they thought you were, and they're going to be like, oh, get them out of here. I get imposter syndrome so bad. I don't know if I'll ever get rid of it. A lot of times that can stem from criticisms and lack of appreciation as a child, past experience, lack of appreciation in a job, or getting called out for not being good enough at some point in your life, and people having enough fodder for it to actually like affect you. Okay. And so I feel like past experiences are kind of what's helping bring this anxiety to a head. And it's messing with you enjoying the community, the spirituality, the abundance and wonderful feelings that you get from it, the strength that you get from it. And so let's go ahead. Like, where are your cards? Oh, I buried them. It's like, where's group 3's deck of cards? It's right here. I grabbed it and put your oracle cards right over the top of it because I'm a silly goose. Okay, these 3 want to come out already. Couple more. And this is just going to be kind of like overall messages that your guides have for you. And then I'll start breaking it down into like, what does your boss think? What do your coworkers think? That kind of thing. Okay. Temperance, balance, baby. Healing, good things coming, not bad, right? Okay, we have the Devil. Let's go ahead and cover up these little sneaky people. There's not enough to cover them both. Good grief, the sneakiness. Now this one's going to feel inadequate because I gave a bigger cover up to the other guy. Cover those PPs. Thank you. All right. I'm sure you would have been scarred for life if you would have seen them, y'all. Just warp your fragile little minds with those little peanuts that we have down here. Like they don't have enough problems, and then you've got this like chick just like giving them a hard time about their you know what's. Uh-oh. Let's go ahead and pause these because I have a call coming in, it looks like. Or do I? Why isn't it making noise? So I'm feeling like, see how I covered them both up with the same one now so that they feel the same. Because I mean, in the picture, they were very, very compatible. That's for sure. Okay, so what's interesting about this is I feel like, okay, there's a couple of things going on in here with the imposter syndrome that you're feeling, or the feeling like you're going to be, you know, not in your job for long. I don't know, how am I saying this? Like your fear of losing your job that you like so much, okay? I feel like some of you who are watching are male, and you have a boss lady that might make you feel like maybe she doesn't appreciate the boys as much, okay? Some of you, I feel like some men work under you and you are female, and so you feel like that they don't like being told what to do by a woman, okay? But what's cool about the devil card is that none of that's true. None of this is true. You're being imprisoned by your own mind and your own fears and your own anxiety, okay? So the best thing to do when you have devil energy like that is to try to fake it until you make it, I guess is a part of like what I'm trying to say. Okay, hang on. Sorry, the sound is much better if I don't use headphones, but I still have my headphones on from that client call that I just had. So, okay. I feel like, yeah, like you're a prisoner in your own mind, that these are your own thoughts keeping you held back, that it's like a devil in your mind tormenting you, and there's no need because you're actually quite balanced at work. Based on this card, let's see what else we got going on here. Heartache. Yeah, it's causing you heartache, y'all. It's almost like you're sad about losing this job and it hasn't happened yet. Okay, so if you're looking into, I almost just knocked his little, what do you call those? His cod piece. Do you guys know what cod pieces are? Go ahead and Google it and find out. It's like a little cup that goes over men's you-know-whats, but it was like for when they were like wearing tights kind of back in the day, and they'd put that little guy over their self because, you know, otherwise you'd see everything. All right, yes, so cod pieces is what, they're little moonstone cod pieces these two have. We used to watch Romeo and Juliet, the 1960s version, when I was a teacher. I'd like every act that we finished reading, I'd show them that act in the film from the 1960s version. And that was the first thing. The first thing they saw in the scene when the scene opens is like two dudes walking with tights on with little cod pieces with ribbons coming out. And they're all like, oh, what is this? And you're like, yes, they wore tights back then, children. And they're like, oh, yeah, good times. Oh my gosh, okay, just slap me. Or don't. You know, if you're still here, you must kind of like the way I do things. All right. Yeah, it's causing you heartache, where I don't feel like it necessarily needs to be. I feel like worrying is stealing the joy of being there right now. You know, nothing is ever set in stone. It's like any job that we have is never guaranteed forever, right? And that doesn't mean that you're going to mess it up, but that could just mean that, you know, something comes along and it changes, right? I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying that worrying about it is stealing the joy that you have from it now, okay? And I did that very much in my old profession. It was like, you know, and then what ended up killing my career was not even anything that anybody had really any control over. That was a universe move. It's like, guess what? You're not going to teach anymore. And I'm like, you know, but look, I'm still kicking it. I'm still good. Everything's cool. I'm still finding joy in my life. You know, it's just coming in different forms, but I don't even see an ending to you guys yet being there. I really don't. Let's keep on and keeping on. See, Three of Wands. Your plans are working out the way you want them to. This waiting and seeing is going to come to an end, and you should get the answer that you want about your security, okay? Oh, and change. I want to get some more information on that. It's like you're so worried about it ending that it's taking away your joy of being there right now. Yeah, fear of the future, fear of change. Thank you, Spirit. I was looking to see if like something was changing, but no, it's like fear of change, fear of losing what you have, right? Fear of like getting stabbed in the back, fear of like having a failure, right? Fear of being fired, fear of never being able to move forward because you've lost it kind of thing, but you haven't even lost it yet. Let's keep on looking here. Yeah, your guides are saying that like you should be celebrating right now. Yoink. Yes, King of Cups, that emotionally everything is sound, all right? That you are actually held in more esteem than I think you're thinking. That your guides are saying you're catastrophizing. I do that. The Star, you're actually very, very respected at your job. You're seen as being very wise. You're a go-getter. You overcome challenges and people notice that about you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a look at what your boss thinks about you. Your boss feels like you're a boss, that you're doing everything exactly right, that you're doing things the way they would, okay? They feel like you wear a lot of hats, that you take on a lot of responsibility, that you could be opening doors for yourself to even advance beyond where you are right now. This little guy fell out. Oy. That you're a good worker. This is also a card that says you'll be rewarded for your work. So your boss wants you rewarded for the good job that you've been doing. You actually have very strong intuition. I feel like the worry is almost counterintuitive to your intuition. And what I mean by that is I feel like your intuition is actually telling you that everything is fine, but you're worried about trusting that. I feel like throughout your life, perhaps things that you worried about that didn't happen, you felt like maybe you warded them off by worrying. But really all that happens when you worry is you either worry for nothing or you're choosing to suffer twice. Okay, I do this. I'm not giving you a hard time. I do it. It's a constant battle for me. Imposter syndrome. If things are going well, I expect something bad to happen, right? I luckily don't self-sabotage anymore. At least I don't think I do. Maybe I do. But yeah, learn to trust your intuition. Don't let anxiety screams, intuition whispers. Please focus on that. That helps me for some reason. Yeah, waiting and worrying. It's actually stealing precious time that we don't always get back, okay? I'm not lecturing you. I'm just passing on the messages. Let's see how your coworkers feel about you. Dudes. Dudes and dudettes. And everything in between. You are seen as a good team player, a healer. People might trust you. Okay. Nobody, with the Two of Cups, nobody feels like somebody's beneath them. So nobody thinks that nobody believes that you are not pulling your weight, right? It looks like they think that you're doing a solid job, as good a job as anybody else there. Okay. You're admired. You silly goose. So that's how your coworkers feel about you. That's very positive. Because you're so worried, let's see, where is this going? Okay. Yes, you're burdening yourself. And you don't have to, right? You can let that worry down. Let it down and see how it feels for a little while, right? Strength. You've got this. And one more. The Ace of Wands. I think you will see the light in this regard as you move forward. I think you'll start to believe me. That you'll start to believe your guides. I feel like you are, you know, and once again, it's so funny. I haven't been getting a ton of like job descriptions, but it's like this emotional feeling that people have about their workplace. Let's get you some more oracle to tie this all together. Walk away from the worry, baby. Try walking away from it. Just try not worrying and see what happens. In fact, I challenge you to try to imagine the best outcome and see what that brings, okay? So for example, the first time I ever flew in an aeroplane, which I've only done, technically I've only gone on 2 trips by air, okay? The second trip though, you know, was like more than just 2 flights there and back. It was like hop on a plane, then hop on another plane, then get there, you know? And then on the way back, it was like even more planes, right? And so the first time I flew, it was so much scarier than I even anticipated. I felt totally like terrified the entire time. I thought I was going to die. It was right after September 11th. So like I was thinking about those poor people in the planes, you know, and I was thinking about all the plane crashes I'd ever heard of and just, oh my gosh. And it was awful. And then I was hungover on the way back. So it was just as awful, but with nausea, right? The next plane ride was just a couple of years ago, and I was going to see one of my favorite bands ever. And instead of, I was very scared, especially since I was going to be flying by myself. I wasn't even going to have my hetero life mate, Mr. John, with me. And I instead did the tactic of, instead of worrying, right? I did the tactic that people had told me to try, which was imagine the best case scenario, reframe the worry. So instead of saying, oh, I'm so afraid I'm going to crash, I started saying, I'm so excited to take pictures from the window seat that I'm going to get. I got window seats for almost every flight. Okay. And I had fun taking pictures, right? I felt more excited than afraid. Okay. I actually enjoyed myself. I listened to really hard music of the band I was going to go see, and that helped. I would tell myself I was excited to see that band. I'm so excited. Instead of being afraid of the 60,000 people that were going to be crammed into the stadium with me and that they were going to crush my little 110-pound frame. No, I said, I'm so excited to see this band live. I'm so excited to tell people about it. And so I want you to do that. Walk away from the worry and start saying, I'm excited to advance in this job. I'm excited to be admired by my coworkers and my boss. I'm excited to see what's going to happen next and see where that takes you. If you feel some worry creeping in, like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be okay, think, oh my gosh, I'm excited for this to turn out like this. Lean into it. I know it feels like you're jinxing yourself, right? Like being like bragging and then you like, you know, fall on your face, right? But this is just something you're doing inside your head. Nobody knows what you're feeling, okay? Door to value. Yes, it will open doors for you to try this out. And it will heal. Didn't you have a little broken heart before? It'll help heal that broken heart. I feel like a lot of this stems from some kind of heartbreak that happened in your past. Okay? Like a childhood wound or like a bad past experience. Something where like maybe you thought things were going great and then you found out like not the case and you just got your feet totally yanked out from under you. Your guides want you to stop comparing what's happening now to then because it's not the same. And just because that happened to you then does not mean that is going to happen to you now. Okay? Let's keep going. Man holding a heart, emotional fulfillment. Doesn't have to be a man or woman. Angel of Balance is a lot like the Star and the Temperance card, all rolled into one. Healing, balance, making it through, healing from worry. Hi, Miss Kittles. Lily just came upstairs. She's good luck every time she shows up. Cornucopia, abundance, baby. You're going to be fine, okay? So let me know how this helped you or how it resonated in the comments section. Give me topic ideas there as well. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are ways to do so in the description box, my friends. In group 3, we will see you next time. Take care. Hello, group 4. Sorry for the shadow and the darkness. As per usual, since you're in group 4, you always get the worst lighting possible. I've given up trying to do it in the sunroom too, just because it does not matter what I do. This camera effing sucks. Message me. I'll tell you which phone I got. I'll tell you which phone sucks. This is a brand new phone, man. And the camera sucks. And all these people are like, you don't know how to make cameras work. I'm like, yep, that's what it is. You know, that's why my other ones looked just fine on a way older and crappier phone. But that's cool. They're like, you need to download an app to make it work. Did that. It looks even worse. So, you know what? I'm sorry. Okay, let's go ahead and tell me how much you hate your phone in the comments. Or how much you love yours. Tell me which one I should have bought. Because I clearly made the wrong choice. Jeez Louise. Okay. What's going on with you at work? Let's find out. These readings, like usual, have taken on very strange turns. Okay. I see them. We have 5 cards here for you. This one, and then these 3. That's 4, so we're going to take that one that we didn't see and get rid of it. We're going to go answer this client, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so let's just go ahead and make sure you're in the right group. We have community. So your job might be community oriented, or it might feel like a community. I've gotten this card for like all the groups except one. So in any event, it's very, very important to you to feel that community connection, okay? We also have patience. So you might be trying to stay patient while you wait for a raise, while you wait for things to improve, while you're waiting for something. It's requiring some kind of patience on your part, as well as strategy. So you could be trying to strategize moving forward, strategizing next moves. I feel bad when I do job readings because I've had so few jobs, especially in the last, my whole life, that I'm one of those people that I get a job and I just stick with it probably for way too long. And so the corporate world I don't really understand. And so, I try to go off feelings and stuff like that. I don't usually see things like, what the job title is per se. It's more like how you fit into that job. Hi, buddy. Atticus is here saying hi. Atticus said hello. That's my little boy cat. He's also quite lucky. But his little eye was watering on one side, so some of you might be having like an eye issue. That might just be further confirmation that you're in the right place. But anyway, or you might have a cat. That might be another indication that you're in the right place. So you're trying to be patient, you're trying to strategize. Your job has something to do with the community or is like a community itself. It could be the type of job where you do have to be patient and you do have to do strategies. So for example, a person who works in like psychology, right? Like if you're like a counselor or some type of like that type of deal, that does take a lot of patience and it does take a lot of strategy on like how you approach subjects, how you approach people. I know that reading cards for individual clients, that does take a lot of patience sometimes and a lot of strategy, just like a counseling gig does. Teaching was the same kind of way. If you're, around challenging people, that can be something that you have to have patience and strategize through, especially if you're a close-knit community type working place. Angel of love. I feel like you have to bring love to your job. So definitely feeling like, something where you're doing like service in the service of others. So like whether that's teaching or social working or counseling or healthcare or even like public protection, like police or service of some kind. EMT just popped into my mind as well. So anything where you're having to consider the needs of others and the needs of those in your community is also coming through for this job. Ooh, and deceit. You have to decide if people are telling you the truth I think you deal a lot with people who don't tell you the truth, so that automatically makes me think about counseling, but it also brings in like teaching. It could even be like you're a tax person and people lie to you about their taxes. Some type of job where people lie to you a lot and you have to look through the deceit and still like bring compassion and love to the situation. So that's a very, very broad range of different careers that could be. But that's the gist I feel about it. Like it requires patience, it requires strategy, patience and strategy. You have to consider the thoughts and feelings of others and come from a place of love and compassion. And you deal with a lot of deceit. And I feel like the deceit isn't so much in your workplace, but we'll get into that in a minute as we start drawing tarot. But it feels more like that's just part of the job, is the deceit. Like lawyers get lied to all the time. Like any of those jobs where people lie, like people lie to their doctors, people lie, drug and alcohol counseling. People lie about whether or not they've started drinking and drugging again, right? Those kinds of issues feel like they're coming through very, very strongly. So let's go ahead, now that you know you're in the right place, let's go ahead and get some tarot for you. We have Ace of Swords. So yeah, lots of emphasis on truth, integrity. Like I feel like you have to be more integral than the people that you're helping or the people that you're working with. So for example, when you're a teacher, you're very held responsible for like how you speak to people, how you handle the kids, how you handle their parents. You might even be held accountable for how you behave out in the world. I feel like police have to go through that as well. It's not like if you're a teacher or a police officer, you can just go out and cut loose and party and people film it and then you're okay. Like it can like reflect back on you. So I feel like you're held to a higher standard in this job, that you're held to a very strict code of honesty and integrity. And I feel like you do. I feel like you handle it well. All right. Yes. Again, deceit, people lying. Again, it still feels like the clientele or the people that you work with in general, not so much like your coworkers or your boss, but we'll get into your coworkers and boss as well. Ace of Cups, again, that love, having to be an endless, bottomless vessel of like compassion. Right? Like you don't get to show frustration. You don't get to show hurt feelings. You don't get to show anger, right? I see you having to make very quick and executive decisions. And I see you being very good at it. Like I feel like you're a success at this job. And if you're like wondering if you are, that would be confirmation for you that you're good at this. If it feels like you're not sure, that's your guides telling you like, be sure. Okay. Let's look at, okay, your boss is showing like a person that is emotionally stable. It could also be that your boss sees you as being emotionally stable. I kind of feel like it's both. I feel like the boss in this case is a good boss, like able to rule, but also able to be there emotionally and like takes emotions into account. So for example, if they have to fire somebody or talk to them about their conduct or reprimand them in some way, they take that person's feelings into account. And they, I was just looking at this, it says Ace of King of Cups. So it's almost like they're the best of the King of Cups energy. They also see you as being emotionally stable and emotionally easy to deal with. This is a lucky time, or they feel like they are lucky to catch you or to have you as a worker, your boss does. That they lucked out by getting you. Yeah, that you're successful. Nine of Pentacles is all about being successful, even just on your own. Like they don't feel like you need anyone else to be successful, that you're just doing a great job just on your own 2 feet. And that you're intuitive, that you intuitively know how to handle the job, that you intuitively that you're just intuitive all around, that you know the right thing to do and when to do it. Let's see how your coworkers feel about you. Hello, hello. Lots of things. Your coworkers. Okay, we have 7 of Wands. They feel like you are a go-getter, that you overcome many challenges. I feel like the coworker situation, there does seem to feel like there's a little bit of combative energy, or, you know, not as... like some insecurity about how well you do things and how much your boss likes you. That's something that people notice. It is something that maybe makes them feel jealous. And so you might feel like you're kind of at odds with certain coworkers at work. The Devil also shows like some jealousy with your coworkers over the job that you do. Jealousy over the fact that you are doing better than they are, and they know it's because they're holding themselves back, not so much that you're holding them back, but they could blame you in some way, like out of pettiness or out of their own insecurity. But the world shows that that should come to an end, and in a good way, that that behavior should be nipped in the bud, or that something about that behavior with those coworkers is going to right itself, that it's going to run its course and the course is almost done. So if this has been like really bothering you about your coworkers, your guides are kind of promising that that's not going to be how it is forever, that situation is going to come to pass. Yeah, judgment. The right people will be judged for the right reasons. It also speaks to you worrying about maybe things being over, that they would be over in a good way. It also shows you rising to the occasion and stepping into your place and holding your own. So does the Magician. The Magician shows that you have all the tools to make it through this, and anybody that's like jealous or trying to gun for you isn't going to be successful, because you're always like one step ahead, or 3 or 4. Ace of Pentacles is good, abundant energy, especially in the workforce. Pentacles are all about workforce and health and earthly matters. So it looks like a new opportunity might come towards you in the form of like promotion, in the form of new coworkers, like the other ones weed themselves out and you get some new people that are more compatible. For some of you, it could go either way with those. 5 of Cups. Try to focus on what is going right as opposed to what is going wrong. So if there's some coworkers that are jelly, that are driving you nuts, try to focus on the boss being cool with you. Try to focus on the coworkers who are cool with you, who are, who have your back, who are reasonable, right? Who aren't just watching other people and comparing themselves and taking their insecurities out, right? Oh my gosh, that's a lot. 7 of Cups. New opportunities should be coming towards you. This also could indicate that there's people or a person in your job who has an addiction problem, because the Devil does have addiction qualities as well. 7 of Cups to me shows somebody that could be like actively drinking, actively using, to the point where they can't see things clearly. It also can show that your emotions might be kind of like going in 7 different directions because of this like situation. But it also can be opportunities coming in and lots of choices being available to you. So those are all things that I feel coming from this card. Each one will apply differently to each person watching. So let me know if you have questions. The Hierophant. That's being recognized. That's also like teaching others. It's also a person can come into your life that teaches you something. Knight of Cups, yeah, another offer coming in. So you very well could get a promotion offer or some kind of offer that advances your career, that keeps running through over and over and over again. But it feels like it's in the same vein of like what you're doing now, because I feel like what you're doing now means a lot to you and that you don't want to change that. So don't worry, like you're not going to have to change jobs or anything. 4 of Wands, celebration, good balance. Good partnerships. You might like have if you have partners in your job, you might get a new partner who's awesome. Okay. Knight of Swords. Speaking your truth, taking action towards what you want in your words and in your mind. I see these two that want to come out. Bam, the Sun. That's the best card you can get in a reading, no matter what. That means that even your cloudy days will be sunny in some way. And Three of Cups, again, celebration, making good connections, being friends with people, finding the right group, the right community. And King of Swords, overcoming your challenges, communicating well. I really feel just so much success coming from this group that I feel like you might be the shortest reading of the day. I was like worried that all my group 4 readings are shorter than the rest because I'm tired. Right? Because you're tired and you don't give an S anymore. But I don't actually feel that with this. I've actually been checking my timestamps, and they do actually kind of vary. So that made me feel better that I wasn't just shortchanging group 4s. We're also going to get some more Oracle for you. Just because. Okay, so some indecision. I feel like some of you, because of the coworker situation for some, and just because of the amount of deceit that you deal with, that sometimes I feel like you aren't sure if you're on the right path, if you should move on to something more, or something different, right? 4th chakra, that's your heart chakra. Archangel Raphael, that's all about following your heart. So when you aren't sure which way to go, what does your heart say, or what's most important to your heart is a message there. I feel like for some of you that's like, I can't lead with my heart in this job. But your guides are saying you can. The same way that you have to lead with love in a lot of these types of professions, they're saying to keep leading with your heart. The thinking man. Yeah, you're thinking a lot. You're always thinking. Maybe overthinking a little bit. Happy family. So I feel like no matter what, your home life, your work life, the community within your work is secure. That you're on your way to happiness if you aren't there already. That you have power, your 3rd chakra with Archangel Shamuel. That's all about knowing your power, confidence, right? So if you're feeling like you're lacking confidence, go ahead and feel confident because you really are doing a bang-up job at your job. Your boss definitely thinks so. Man holding the coin, you will be prosperous, even if you're female. Blossoming abundance, hello. And your 5th chakra, Archangel Gabriel, or Gabriel, depending on how you like to say it. That's all about speaking your truth as well. So speak your truth. Feel your presence. Be happy about where you are in life. Abundance is coming. You're doing a great job. If you were wondering about whether or not you're doing a good job, you are. The only negativity that I see is those coworkers for some, and that mainly stems from like jealousy and their own insecurities. So try to detach from that that energy, and don't wear a mask. Be your authentic self, because that is what is bringing you all the way home to a success in your career. I feel like this was so short. Let's try. I just want to get a few more. Man holding a heart. This is going to be emotionally fulfilling, so I just keep saying the same things over and over again. Angel of balance. Temperance, so healing, balance. I feel like those coworkers or those people that are causing any doubt or worry are going to weed themselves out, and things are going to get better. I see romance coming in for some of you. I feel like that's totally disconnected to the job. Yeah, remember we got the world again of like any bad things that are happening are soon to be at an end. So any heartache that's coming towards you should be mended. Any hostilities that are being felt are going to be overcome by your own prosperity. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I just keep saying the same things over and over again. I'm sorry it was shorter. Short but sweet and all good news, pretty much. So if this is helpful, tell me how in the comment section. Give me topic ideas there as well. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are ways to do so in the description box. Thank you so much for being here, my friends. We will see you in the next one. Take care. Work well. Bye-bye.